Hi, everybody. Earl Flamata here again, and this is another episode of the Cryptopolitan podcast. Today's guest is Tal. Tal, how you doing?
Great. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good. It's a little chilly here in Vancouver. Where are you calling in from today?
I'm calling from Tel Aviv, Israel, and I walked around with a sweatshirt today, and I've been sweating, to be honest.
Oh, nice, nice. So yeah, well,
Yeah,
I live in Canada, so I don't have that luxury. So
yeah. No,
oh, not
I'm
during the
not trying to
winter.
show off or anything.
I think Vancouver is the most glorious place in the world for all of 2.5 months, and then the rest of it rains. So
Okay.
so
At
there
least
you
it's not
go. Anyway.
London.
Oh yeah, there you go. Well, why don't we jump right into it? Tell us about the project you're working on. So let's start off with the project name and what does it do?
Sure. So I am the CEO and co-founder at Trust Finance. We started the company just over 2 years ago, raised a seed and A round, so about $20 million. And when we got started, the idea was to help companies that engage with digital assets manage all their financial data for back office operations, accounting, audit, reconciliation, reporting, and compliance. So today we power over 150 organizations, some of the biggest in the world, on all their back office operations and keeping track of all the transactions, balances, DeFi, exchanges, and even bank accounts. So think about a CFO, the CFO's best friend for making everything from manual to automatic.
Fantastic. That's a wide swath of stuff. I particularly like the compliance stuff, so it makes your accountant less crazy. So that way, when you're trying to
Yeah.
file for tax and this and that and everything else, it makes it a little easier, right?
So that's actually something new that we are now rolling out. It's a new feature called frameworks. So we are seeing Mika and FARA uh, compliance frameworks be more and more popular, of course, going to 2025. So what we've decided to do is inside the platform actually offer these as checklists and features that you can actually um, do all kinds of actions inside the platform that at the end you'll get a certificate that you're compliant with all the data needs.
Fantastic. So I guess you're reaching out to all the different projects out there saying, "Hey, you want to make your compliance a little easier?" Because
Yeah, so I would
you know,
say exchanges, wallets, infrastructure players, staking providers, any company that engages with digital assets.
fantastic. Well, I guess it makes all the people who are doing that sort of job a little bit easier. Tell us about other parts of the puzzle. I mean, like what's coming down the chain right now? What's coming down the pipe? What's interesting that's coming down?
Sure. So we couldn't ignore this AI revolution, and
Hmm.
not in a trend buzzword manner. We try to understand how we can actually leverage this new technology to our benefit that will bring real value to our customers. And if you look at the CFO and what he needs to deal with, there are many parts of his job that we are already automating. But what we
Hmm.
understood is that sometimes they will hire financial analysts to go through different parts of the data and get all kinds of insights and build different dashboards that then they can share with management or just understand what's happening inside their financial parameter. So,
Okay.
because on the back end, we built something called a financial data lake, we plug the OpenAI model into each company's database. And then we created something called Trust Analyst. So instead of hiring an analyst, you use our AI as an analyst. And you can free text ask questions to the database and get amazing dashboards, graphs, and highlights, lowlights about your assets, your balances, your gains, your taxes. Really, really cool stuff. So that's something I was super excited about. We just launched it about 2 weeks ago, and the engagement and feedback has been amazing.
Fantastic. In the industry, what I've been seeing, not just the crypto industry, but the overall arcing AI industry. So Cryptopolitan also reports on AI as well. And I actually own a couple of AI companies. What's fascinating is that I've seen them using the analysis as a hybridization between that and humans. So it takes all the best practices, throws all the computational analysis at these things at like super large data sets, which would take a human like, their whole lifetime to figure it out. And this thing, shoots it out in an hour, right? And so I find that interesting because it'll flag all the bits and pieces that should be paid attention to. And then a human goes over it and goes, okay, that's normal. Oh, no, no, that's weird. Let's fix that. And so I'm liking that kind of hybridization between, AI plus human. So you said you do the stuff that the CEO does, you automate a lot of it, but you still need the CFO, right? At the end of
Always.
So that's
Always. The idea with AI, or at least the way I see it, is that there are lots of things they can automate, but there always has to be a human in the loop to kind of make sure the prompts are correct and kind of adjust and make sure that the AI draws between the lines that you defined. If not, just goes sideways and you don't really get the value that you need, which causes frustration and then kind of disbelief in AI. And when you look at the analyst feature that we built inside our platform, we give you predefined prompts that you can change different variables in it and go free text, but to a limit, right? We don't want you to go like all freestyle, because then the data and the answers that you might get aren't exactly what you were looking for, which will cause, again, lack of trust and frustration. And that's not the experience we want to give our customers. We want to make sure that you are, instead of hiring a full-time analyst, you can become the analyst if you know how to ask the AI the right question.
You bet. Well, I find that AI as a tool just magnifies the ability of the person who's holding it, right? So if they already know how to write a SQL query when they're using AI, their AI questions are more intelligent. If they already know how to write code, they're using AI to write that code. The code ends up being more intelligent, right? So it doesn't replace the human; it just accelerates the human. Something else I've seen in the market that's of interest is they've been taking like people who teach like the MBA program and business stuff, and they've been throwing that into the AI data set alongside corporate data. And then from there, what happens is that it amalgamates the data, throws questions against it, and it's able to actually pull really interesting information out of this. And what I wanted to do was kind of shine some light on what's out there in the market, and then maybe take your take on it, and then see maybe which direction you guys are heading on this exact same thing. So what they've done is they've actually taken all customer data from this particular company, they threw it into a large language model AI. And what they did was they actually segregated every single customer and shows you the separate margins from each one. It shows you the best of the
Wow,
best. It actually shows you which customers are profitable, which customers are break even, and which customers are actually draining the company of money.
that's crazy, actually.
It's actually hilarious. So what we've been doing, because I'm a consult on one of those, is we sell off the bad clients to the competitors. And the funny thing is, we turn a profit because we're selling off the bad client. And not only do we turn a profit, we get to go faster because we are more now.
Double win.
Our margin is great, and the hilarious thing is, it slows down it slows down the
Yeah.
competitor. They don't know, right? So there's
Wow.
there's a lot of data set that's out there that's available. And another one, so I'll leave you with this one, and then I want to hear your feedback on what's going on your end. I have a client who's doing acquisitions right now, and before she buys a company, she brings it to me. And before, I would sit there and pour through all the financial records and financial data and come up with, this is why you should buy it, this is why you shouldn't buy it. Well, I gave it all the rule sets that I look for on a regular basis, and now the machine does it 10 times faster than I do, right?
Mm.
So we we,
And
we
and
were
do you go through the answers? Like, do you make sure that like do you verify it?
yeah, well, all it does is it sticks flags and things for me to pay attention to as a human. So it goes,
Yeah.
hey, this is weird, this is weird, this is weird, take a look at this. And so one of the companies that she was going to, I won't name names, but the company she was going to acquire, actually the HR in the reporting for the financials ended up a little wonky. Like all of the payroll data was screwed up, and then all of a sudden it started switching over to consulting data. And like, wait, why are we losing payroll and paying more in consulting? It turns out, the business was dying, so all the people were leaving. And since all the people were
Oh,
leaving,
wow.
I actually I advised her, do not buy the company, wait 6 months and pick it up for parts. And there it was. Right now, the funny thing is, the AI can do this. Like, that took me hours to figure out. It's like I'm sitting there pouring through, like it's a bunch of financial documentation, and it's not just one. It's like, here's the last 10 years worth of data. And so now we feed the same thing to the AI, and it finds it right away. Now, it doesn't do anything with it, it just flags it and goes, hey, human, look at this. So what are your thoughts on that, with the future of, like what you guys are working on and what AI is bringing to you guys?
So it's really similar. Like, you can ask Trust Analyst, how did my balances change within the first quarter of 2023? And then what
Hmm.
you'll get is a custom graph that shows each and every wallet's performance over those 3 months, and
Interesting.
highlight saying like, this wallet performed this way because it actually held this asset, it performed really well this quarter. And
Oh,
this
wow.
wallet, without this asset, would actually perform also pretty well, but you should have probably gotten rid of this asset before the quarter started. And this wallet, besides this asset that had a decline in value actually did really well with it, if you don't take this into consideration. So if you ignore this, actually performance
Wow.
was
So
really
it can
good.
it can
So
it can pull off certain channels and say, hey, this is the analysis. So I have a question then. Would AI be a better tool for rebalancing wallets over time rather than the human?
100% yes. Like the idea is that the AI would come with recommendations and you could
Mm.
approve it with one click. Okay. Because you
Right,
always,
right. You
again,
still have to pull the trigger, right? Like a
exactly,
human still has to
exactly,
pull the trigger, but the AI can see
correct.
more stuff than we can just because that's the nature of AI, right?
Yeah, it can see more stuff, it can run faster. And like, think about analyzing data and coming after a day with recommendation. Recommendation might be irrelevant after a day. You want to have instant movements, especially when you're trading or even if you're like doing like holding for a long time. You want the AI to flag things like it did for you with acquiring companies. You
Hmm.
want to be able to react much faster to the market.
Fantastic. What a brave new world, right? I mean, like, back in the day when I used to trade, look at the chart yourself and figure it out. Now that we have AI that goes, hey, you can use this analysis, that analysis, what because I used to manually check for what 4 or 5 systems when I used to trade back in the day. And that took forever. And now a blink of an eye, it's right there, right? That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, we used to have these so-called AI when you think about algo trading and high frequency trading. But I think
Hmm.
AI today gives it kind of democratizes a lot of not algo trading, but a lot of resources into being a much more efficient trader or just like person who cares about their assets and wants to make sure that they are making the right decision investing in this asset or another asset. So I
Fantastic.
find that like super exciting for how the average Joe can now make better decisions when it comes to investing his money.
That's a neat belief that I've seen coming out of the AI space. So once AI has kind of figured its way around things, there's no more such thing as beginner, right? Because everybody rises to the level of intermediate the moment you have a
Yeah.
half decent understanding of the structure
Well,
in an AI.
yeah. I mean, you can be a beginner with AI, so that's the thing,
Hmm.
because if you don't know how to use it, then you are actually a beginner.
Well,
The
yeah,
more you
true, true.
understand
But
that,
like someone
yeah.
who's already been through the paces a little bit, like it helps you skip ahead, right? Like a little bit.
Exactly,
So
exactly. You can actually build kind of an exponential learning curve.
all right. Well, is there anything that currently that besides the AI portion that stands out to you? Are there any more bits and pieces you want to highlight?
Yeah, so I talked about the frameworks to make sure that you are compliant with the different regulatory advancements that will kick in 2025. I
Hmm.
think those are the two most exciting features for the next 3 to 4 months. We've got some things that we are cooking. I just don't want to expose too much here.
Oh, absolutely, for sure, for sure. But
As I say,
AI and compliance,
TBD.
yeah,
Yeah,
AI and compliance are interesting things, definitely.
for
Well,
sure.
why don't we move along then? So when you're not, building AI compliance and a bunch of other tool sets, what do you do for fun?
For fun,
Yeah.
yeah, I we started a company just over 2 years ago. I said that, and when you start a company, you are 100% devoted to your baby, right? You want to
Yes.
make sure that your company, or you do the best you can to make sure your company succeeds. And just about a year ago, we had our first child. So for fun, I tried to get home in time to make sure I make her dinner and I spend some time with her. And for me,
Absolutely.
that's the best, better than anything. I've really reduced the amount of hours I work. I'll just say I just push them to later on when she goes to sleep. But for me, that's the best time spent.
Oh, 100%. So I've got 2 kids myself. I read to them every day while in utero, and then for the first, I think, 5, 6 years of their life. And
Mhm.
so, one, they get used to dad's voice, which is really cool. And then two, you build that special bond with them, right? So,
Yeah,
let me give you a fun family tip that I wish I got soon.
please.
And it's make an email for your kid. Make an email for your kid.
Mate, you can't believe that's the first thing I did when she was born at the hospital. I
Oh, nice.
literally got an email because I have an email with like my personal email has the like numbers in it, and I
Yeah.
hate it so much. And I
Yes.
said like I will make sure my kid has the perfect email. That's what I did. It's so funny you
Nice.
saying that.
Okay, so now I need you to make a second email then. So I need you to make a
Okay,
second email for your kid. And the second email, they do not get access to. Okay. So the second email they don't
okay,
get access to. And what you're gonna do with it is every time you make a memory, because they're super young right now, right? Yeah, I know there's lack of sleep. It's a little crazy, with your first one. So because you're going to forget stuff, right? What you do is you email the memories. If it's a picture, did they do something funny? Is there a video? Did they say something silly? Like all those little pieces, all those little precious memories. What you do is you send them to that secondary email, right? And then what happens is that when they come of age, or maybe as a wedding present, you give them this thing, and now it's a bunch of precious memories you never would have
wow,
seen. Like
wow,
there are so many memories in there that we did this with our kids, and there were so many memories in there that I totally would have forgotten if we didn't email ourselves, right? Because my wife's running ragged, I'm running ragged, no one's sleeping
yeah.
at all, and no one remembers any of this stuff until you go back in there and you go, oh my gosh, I do remember that, and that was hilarious, right? So yeah,
I love this idea. That's beautiful. I'm
there you
taking
go.
that. The first thing I'm going to do after
Make the second
this
email.
call is I'm going to, yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. And then, like I said, like they do funny stuff now that they're not going to do later, right? Like
Yeah,
the
for
day my
sure.
son discovered his foot, he freaked out. He's like, "Oh, there's a foot there." I'm like, dude, that's yours, right? And so, we have these pictures of him just like holding it, staring at it. You're like, what the hell is this? Like, dude, that's your foot, right? And so yeah, the pictures are funny, the story is funny, right? And then when he
So cute.
moves, he startles himself and then falls over. Oh man, the videos are
Yeah,
priceless. So that sort
sure.
of stuff you're going to forget as you grow. So absolutely. And then you know what? When their wedding comes up, it is god awful material to embarrass the crap out of them. So,
Yeah. Wow, I love that.
so
Amazing idea.
absolutely. There you go. Cool, man. Well, why don't we move to the third part where we just talk about, you're building some really cool stuff. You're building really interesting things for for everybody actually. And so what what do you want people to connect with you on? Like let's figure out, like, so get people to come connect to you, give them a reason to connect with you. I want to connect with you after talking to you now, but let's give people a reason to connect with you. And where do you want them to connect with you?
Awesome. So first of all, if you are building a company in the crypto space, blockchain space, if you're
Mm,
working at a company in that space and you know that the company is struggling with managing their financials, having problems with the reporting and the accounting, and aren't quite sure what to do with the compliance, and you just want advice on like how to take this forward, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, Tal Zackon, that's my name. I'm sure it will be in the description of the podcast, and you can also add the
mm.
link if you would like. And then if you go to our website, chess.finance, you can book a meeting, and I'm happy to join those meetings and see how we can be helpful. So we want to make sure that if you are engaging with digital assets and there's some kind of compliance or regulatory issue that is making you not do that move, we want to be the ones that solve that for you and make sure that you have a smooth experience engaging with crypto.
Fantastic. I just connected with you on LinkedIn because I was serious. I
Okay,
was I
let's
was
go.
sincere. Like I want to connect with you. So that's really cool. Absolutely. And so if LinkedIn is your platform of choice, I see it definitely is. You have 13,000 followers, which on LinkedIn is a big thing. So that's
Yeah, thank
fantastic.
you.
Yeah. Well, dude, it was Tal. It was fantastic having you on the show. So
Cheers, man. Same here.
thank you
Thank
for
you for
coming.
having me.
I'm looking forward to just reconnecting afterwards to see where this thing goes, because that's
Same
really
here.
awesome.
Same here. Cheers.
All right.
Appreciate
Well,
it.
appreciate you for being on the show. Thanks again. Thanks everybody for
Thank
watching.
you.
Take care.